All right, great.
You alright?
Yeah. Is it a picture you have up or is it like video? Because I'm not seeing your lips moving, so I just asking.
I have it as video. I don't know why it just.
It froze.
I don't know why it froze. Let me try to get turn off the video and then put it back on. Let's see what happened.
All
Okay,
right,
yeah.
lovely, great.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Finally, after so
Alright.
long.
So much trials and tribulations from
Yeah,
payments to videos.
it was really a problem. Like really, really a problem. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
screen record this. Screen record.
I just download a screen recording app.
Yeah, so
So
I'll screen
it
record it
didn't
on
work.
this phone as well as I'll be doing it on my other camera. So I'll use that for the long content and we could use this for the short content. And any information
Yeah.
I could just share it back in a file to you. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So tell me now I know you're interested in hydroponics, but I read the document. It was pretty vague in most of the information. I mean, it was lacking a lot of stuff. Um,
Yes, it is. And just because I rushed and I put it together, you see, it wasn't something that
mhm.
I really just sat down and put a whole bunch of like thought behind it. Just like I've been brainstorming a lot of information, everything,
Right.
and writing about. I've been purchasing stuff, so
Mm.
and I continue to purchase stuff. So I just want to like make sure that I'm going in the right direction. So like I bought all the cocoa peat, all the perlite, I bought all the nutrients.
Okay.
I actually started paying down on the tanks. I actually bought 3 400-gallon tanks.
Mm.
So I gave like half the deposit already, so I can pay the other half next month. And then after that, now I'll be looking to buy pumps, which reading a document, my initial idea was to use half horsepower pumps because I don't think you really need a lot of pressure for drip irrigation and stuff.
It will only work up to you have to check the flow and pressure on that and make sure like wherever distance you're going that you could cover it the full capacity so you just max out the load because if you go too much on it you'll lose pressure, so just keep that in mind that you don't want to go too big with the pump and then you start losing pressure. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you're doing, go it within the maximum capacity, but don't over exceed it. You can under exceed it, but don't over exceed it. Because when you over exceed it, you'll have an inconsistency with watering, and then that will cause a problem in the entire system.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Definitely.
so you had to make
Thanks so
sure
much.
you have to check that beforehand because I faced that problem already. You keep expanding and then you realize, wait, that side of the system not watering the same way as this side of the system because of the distance, and then after it will just cause an inconsistency in growth as well. So you want to make sure you're covering that basis at least.
Yes, definitely. I've used this site called Drip Depot. They have like a drip
Drip,
calculation.
deep.
Dripdepot.com. So you do like you add up all the emitters, the distance, so you work out like pressure drops and different stuff like that.
Right,
But
based on
those
the
centrifugal
distance and
pumps,
the total amount. Yes, okay, correct.
so the centrifugal pumps, they're very good, especially because they have what they call a high head height, which means that they can pump water really high rate, but they can also pump water really far because the lateral distance doesn't require the same amount of power required as to pump water vertically. Which really what they designed really to pump water really high. So I guess that's a benefit, and then like I said, they can produce a lot of pressure actually. So they can go to they actually burst things, So yeah,
Okay.
they're very good. Better than the
So,
submersible pumps.
all right. So, all right. Just to get some background, right? What do you do currently right now?
I mean, for work,
Yeah,
they actually work in construction project management.
project management. Okay, well then you're in a good field. So this should be easy for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Project
I deal with
management.
construction all day long. Yeah, for the government. Yeah, that's what they do. So
Okay,
we work on huge projects.
right.
So
All right. So project management. How much hours a week that does actually take up of your time?
Well, I work, think that basically 7.5 hours a day. So that's basically for the 37.5 hour work week.
That is including transport.
Yeah. That's everything. Yeah,
Right.
we don't
So
have much traffic here. That's a good thing.
okay.
That is
Okay.
it. Yeah, if I lived on the other side of the island, that
Right.
would be an issue because people have to leave really early. They have serious traffic issues on that side of the island, which thankfully I don't live there.
All
So
right. You said you did hydroponics before a decade ago or something like that, and you said you did an NFT system 2 decades ago, and you did
yeah,
an NFT system, right?
yeah, I did it with PVC pipes and stuff.
What caused your
Um,
system to fail at the time?
I'm sorry.
What caused you to stop doing it at the time?
I never saw any production. Like I said, I grew a tomato plant and the thing grew huge. It grew must be like 4 feet high, huge, and it never produced a tomato. But
What variety did you grow?
it was the Roma tomato.
When was it supposed to fruit?
Yeah, but I mean, it produced blossoms and stuff, but just no fruit.
What type of fertilizer you used?
Back then, I just got stuff from because I interned. I didn't tell you this too. This part, right? When I was in high school, which, like I said, I graduated over 20 years ago, right?
Right.
I interned one summer at a hydroponic farm.
Okay. No, but like, what fertilizer you guys use? Like hydroponic, organic, compost. So like, what type of fertilizer you use?
It was an inorganic fertilizer that
A hydroponic
nutrient solution.
fertilizer. You remember the
Yeah, it was a
ratio?
hydroponic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an A and B. It was a simple A and B that they gave us that I
Okay.
got from the government.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like I said, I really didn't do much research. They just told me like, oh, add this to the water, and it was an A and B powdered solution. So, and that's why I added to the hydroponic solution at the time. And like I said, the stuff grew, but nothing really came out of it. So, I got
So
discouraged, honestly.
you know how to do plumbing as well, right?
I did all of that. I actually studied electrical
So
in
you done
college. I did a 1
plumbing,
year certificate,
electrical.
and I interned. Yeah, my father's actually a retired plumber, so I grew up around plumbing.
And you know
I
the
did work as
construction side.
my brother's a plumber. My uncle is a contractor. I have another uncle is a mason. So like, yeah, I kind of deep into the trades,
Okay. All right. So time, patient. Right. Okay.
They're very technical. Yeah.
It's not too technical. Once you understand the basics, I see there's a so in the information you given so far, we need to get a little bit more educated with the nutrients. So in the document, I broke down all the nutrients, what each one is specific for, and I gave you the formula of which one we normally use, right? Plus, it's also have a hyperlink to the nutrients on Amazon or anything like that. You could search for it and get cheaper, obviously, like imported cheaper. But it's all about understanding the type of nutrients that to the crop that you're doing. Now, this will entail a little bit more research. If you want to do tomatoes, for example, again, right? But I think you don't want to do tomatoes again, right? You want to do more leafy greens and herbs, right?
First thing I'm gonna start off doing is thyme.
Time.
Second thing is
Right.
is getting our chives, chives you call it, and then I'm gonna do peppers.
Okay.
We call it seasoned peppers.
Mhm.
It looks like a Scotch bonnet pepper, but it's
Right.
like your pimento pepper. There's no heat to it.
Right. You said you have the land capacity to do it, right? How much land you guys have right now to work with?
My total land space, but I have, like I said, I kind of inherited the land, so it's my father inherited the land from, and he retired, so we have some tenant houses on it that rented stuff. So that's basically his pension. But there's a good section of the land. If you look in that document that I sent you, that's actually the site plan.
Okay. Just roughly, like what, 1 acre, 2 acres?
It's 0.77 acres, so it's like 3/4 of an acre, roughly.
3/4 of an acre. Okay, that's about 6 lots. 6 lots. Okay. Is it like
Yeah.
you said it's a combination of hill and flat, right?
Yeah, majority of it is flat actually. But you
Flat
see what
land.
happened is the area that those pictures that you seen in the document, what happened is right now that is the front of the land, and the land is extremely narrow in the front. It's like 20 feet
Right.
at like the narrowest part width, and then it goes right down to like about 35 feet, and that's like about 200 feet long. So that's the area where I'm actually growing in. And the reason why I'm growing there is because we can't build anything there based on the planning laws that we have here in Cayman.
Right.
You have to be 20 feet from the road to be able to build. And that's just actually the width of the front of the land. So that's why the construction of the houses is actually around the back of the land, not at the front. So you can't really build anything there. I have no choice but to plant something there. I can't build anything. So my
Okay.
ultimate goal long term is for this to become very successful, that I'll be able to accumulate enough funds to be able to buy the adjacent lot. And the adjacent lot is 0.5 acre. So I would like to combine both of them together. That would be my ultimate dream, you know.
Okay. So you want to buy an adjacent lot, 1.5 acres. That's the dream. But you want to use the current space that you have right now, develop the system, understand the system, the mechanics of it, get the business rolling, and then you buy this lot or buy this acreage to expand.
Yeah, half acre next to it.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the goal and objective, right?
Yeah, definitely. And
All right, and well, you have the money, and you have the resources, the capital to work with.
Yeah, well, eventually that's why I'm thinking that basically if I can create this as a solid business case,
Yeah.
I can bring this to the bank and show them, a consistent cash flow, and then
In my document there, in the document I shared with you, it has the cash flow, so you could use that as well, right? So to understand it is like, okay, there's two parts of the document, right? When you deal with the cash flow, the cost of the system, and then the cost of expansion, right? And then if you watch the document itself, I will show you where it's like we going from every month you invest a little bit and you gradually scale up. Now, if you take in bank money, capital money, you can do another cash flow where it's like you just do the capital investment and then after you show them the cash flow through the period one time immediately. So you don't have to go through the scaling aspect anymore. You just put down the system all together in one dynamic, and then after you scale it up from there. Well, you don't even need to scale it up. What I'm saying is you just create cash flow immediately from that, and then after you pay back the bank loan through that from the asset, which is the best method of action because you would you'll gain money immediately. You won't have to worry about anything. But I saw yours price now the like okay, so time sells wholesale at what price over there? Hello? Jerome?
a bit there. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm still here. Like, you can still see me, right? You froze for a bit just now.
Yeah. It looked like I had a drop in connection there. So
Yeah.
what I was asking is was the wholesale price of what's the wholesale price of time?
Time. Oh, the price that I sent you, the price, it would be like about $15 CI. I think I sent it. It was like 100 something.
Yeah.
TT.
That and retail is what?
15.49.
What? Wholesale is
It's not
15.
much different. And retail is 15.49. So basically, when I did my research on that, I said this is very strange because I say that means that they can keep this price so inflated because the demand is so high. Because it's one of the staples here. That's why I came to you. One of the main reasons. I tell you the multiple reasons why I came to you. One, you're using a static system. Two, you're growing all the things that I wanted to grow because I wanted to grow this stuff all year long. I
Right.
wanted to have a consistent crop, and you growing all this at the time. The scallion, the peppers. Now we can talk about something different, but those mean things. Those are like staple ingredients here in Cayman because people that make rice and beans or rice and peas, I don't know what they call it in Trinidad.
Right.
That's a staple ingredient. The staple ingredients are the thyme, the scallion, and the hot peppers.
Okay.
And the thing is, right, the restaurants here have to go to the wholesalers. And my business strategy is really just to to be able to provide them a discount, because those restaurants operate on such razor thin margins that if they can save a $5 or $10, I'm telling you, they will buy it.
Okay.
Because everything is imported.
So what we have to do then is you had to do a little bit of research for me. We need to understand what is the price of the cost of production, right?
Mm-hmm.
So seeds, if you're not getting seedlings, seeds, you have to get the price of seeds. So you can write that down, take that note. We have to get the price of seeds.
All right, I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, we have to get the price of seeds, we have to get the price of the nutrients, what it's going to cost to come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get the price of the seeds, the price of the nutrients. Now you already got the cocoa peat and perlite.
Mm-hmm.
So you already got those. Once you understand the price of those, no problem, because with the perlite and cocoa peat, over time you have to change it, right? But I use a method called crop rotation. I don't know if you know about it, right?
Yes.
So we use the method crop rotation. So after a crop, let's just say you plant, now I normally plant scythe first and then I flip it into another crop, okay? So because I plant scythe first, scythe takes like 4 to 6 weeks to fully develop, right? So when it's fully developed and you harvest it out, the medium is fresh again, like it just open. That is the time I would switch it to either the fine thyme or the parsley. You understand? So this will also break the disease and bacteria and pests and everything like that, because I tend to use a lot less in my system because of the fact that I follow this method. It's a habit you have to create, right? Now, the aspect I develop is a scaling business. So over time, when you generate more cash flow, the idea is you keep adding on more PVC pipes to the system, or you add on a stacking system once you have the land capacity, right? And you keep rotating the cocoa peat and perlite throughout its life cycle, so that way you get the maximum utility of it, right? So in a scenario like this, I would say what you should do is actually plant the scythe first, parsley second, the thyme you can plant after, and then take it out of the system and put it into the grow bags and do the peppers there. After the grow bags now, and after that crop of the peppers, you could change it and you could do ginger, because I'm sure it will have demand for ginger over there, right?
Oh yes.
Right, so you could go into ginger afterwards. And then,
Like I said, everything here is imported, and we have over 130 nationalities here. So
right,
yeah, so that's what. So we have a large population of people in
Okay.
terms of diversity. People buy all that stuff. A lot of Filipinos, a lot of Asians here.
Right.
So,
okay, no problem. So you had to get these things sorted out first. You had to get the price of the seeds, nutrients. Do they have Pro Mix over there?
yes, they do. And they
Do you
have the HP1.
Do you intend to do your own seedlings, or are you going to purchase seedlings?
No, I have no choice. I have to do my own seedlings.
If you do your own seedlings, it will save you a lot of time and money, because it's a farm and it's a business, right? Cutting your initial cost is always the best method of success. So that way you get a higher payout.
Yeah.
Now, we have to find out what the price of the seeds is, nutrients, and the medium with what we're using to grow. Now, remember, it's drip irrigation we're using. So, we also have to get the drip tape, because I don't know, do they supply the drip tape over there in the Cayman Islands?
No, you have to import that.
Right, so you have to import the drip tape. PVC pipe.
Yeah, you can get PVC pipe on island. Lots of that.
All
There's
right.
a lot of construction going on.
Great. Once we can get PVC pipe, that's a plus. Hold on, just give me a sec. This thing keep right. Okay. And alright, so the framing, now when you're building the frame, you want to build it up your waist, by your waist side, right? Like waist height now. Because you don't want it lower than that. If it's lower than that, you end up bending your back. And when you're building the width now, right? You don't want it too wide. If it's too wide, you have to stretch to get to the center. So you have to think about functionality when you're building the system, right? Especially with the area and space. Now, based on your space, we have to do a total area. You have to measure the total area, and then what we can do is we map out and build the system, design the system, how it's going to be. Where you're going to set up your tanks, where you're going to set up the racks, and then we set up the operation cycle of, okay, so we have a timeline. We set in, all right, we're going to do a certain amount of sieve this week, a certain amount of time this week, a certain amount of parsley this week, and it's like an operation cycle. So you always have supply to meet demand. This is how you win the game, because the worst thing you could do is plan your entire system in sieve, one viral disease breaks out and you lose every single thing, you have $0 coming in. Right?
Yes.
So we had to put a contingency plan in place, so you have multiple seasonings at multiple different stages. So it's always on it's always on a rotation where, all right, this week I'm harvesting this sieve and fine time parsley, next week I'm harvesting this, and you keep going like that. Eventually the farm is going to compound to a point where you have every single thing working in combination all at the same time. So this is what we want to create. But we have to get the total square footage of the area. So we have to get that. Right? And then we also have to map out and plan the entire system. Right? So we have to build the entire system in a way that, alright, it's functional in and out of harvest. And also you need to put an area for processing as well. I don't know if it's close to your home. If it's close to your home, just make sure it has an area for processing. Right? So you need to include that. So a processing area. Right? And well, for people to pick up, to deliver, you need to have that as well. It could be close to the processing area where they drive in. I know you said there's a 20 feet gap or whatever. They could drive in, just pick up right there. Good? So we need a pickup area, right? The system itself, very straightforward to build. Once you build the rack, you could use like the 1x1 RHS steel. That's like the cheapest material here in Trinidad. You don't need to use it over there in the Cayman Islands. You could use stronger material if you want. Right? You could use the C channel.
Yeah, I want block.
You could use blocks. You could actually use blocks.
Yeah.
Use blocks with C channel. You put the C channel on top of the blocks. So if you put the blocks like this, you're putting the C channel right on top here. And you're making like about 4 ribs. You're making them like 5 feet apart from each other. Then you're putting the PVC pipes on top and you're securing the PVC pipes onto the C channel. Right?
Okay.
And then you're doing the plumbing from the tank. So this is the tank here. From the tank to the rack. And then from there, you're just building out all the rest. You understand?
Okay.
And then we'll also have to include something where, alright, so everything you have to think about upfront is like, you want to save time. So mixing any nutrients is cost some time. Now, I will show you a method where you're building the mixer and including that in the system. I think I include any quote already. Right? We include all that so that way when you build the system, everything is like almost full to automated and it doesn't cost too much to build from the start. So it saves you time and plenty effort from the start. And once we do that and you have the operation plan with how much actually harvesting per week, how much producing per week, and then we're going out there. Once you have the rotation in order as well, you spend less on chemicals and your system's supposed to be compounding over time. And by that time, when the cash flow is in motion with the bank, obviously, when you pay back the loan and whatever, and you have the excess payout, because you plan to hire workers for this as well, or I should ask you this question.
Eventually, if I purchase the other piece of land, yeah, that eventually will actually hire workers for that.
Okay.
Because that can be a much larger operation than what I think right now I could manage it by myself. But yeah,
Okay.
definitely if the other
Well,
side, yeah, that I would have to.
Well, you only have 40 hours working hours during the day job, right? So yes, you have more enough time. Once you have enough time in the evening and you also have time on the weekends, you can do it on your own. But you have children or and a wife? Right. So
Two children and more.
yeah, you have to cater, you have to spend time with the family too, right? So remember,
Yeah.
in the building stages, you're going to spend a lot of time. Now, you could hire someone out for this, but if you could initially break down the cost from the start and do it all for yourself, you'll save all on the bulk capital, like labor cost wise, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think the only thing I need help for is just right now pouring a slab for the tanks. That's it.
yeah, but also what we want to do is because you're going to be borrowing money from the bank, I would recommend that your labor, we put that cost in from the start, which is something I should have done for myself as well. So I'm giving you personal advice here because it's a business. Do not think about it as, oh, I could just do it cheaper. No, think about it as this has a cost attached to it. Labor is involved. You should put a cost attached to that. And in the quotes, if you see in the document I sent you, you'll see I put labor cost there. And the labor cost gradually goes up as the production levels goes up as well. Right? So you want to cater for that. Don't leave it out. No matter what, don't leave it out. Always cater for labor. Even if it's you doing all the work, pay yourself. Pay yourself for all the work. Because it makes more sense. Because you don't want the system stifling at any point in time for cash. Right? Or you stifling, like you're just dumping money into this and something goes wrong with our grow and you don't see the payout. Pay yourself first so that way you don't lose on anything. If it lose, it lose. You don't already get paid. Right? And whatever the profit is at the end, that is yours as well. So that's the most important thing. Just keep that in mind. Always pay yourself first. Right? So it's a good bit of stuff we have to touch on and work on. I think you're already there in most of it because you already had the cocoa pit, you had the perlite, you had the PVC pipes. The drip tape is the only thing you'll have to bring in. You had the half horsepower pump over there, right? You have the tough tanks over there as well. So because I saw you put it in the quote, you have the tough tanks, right?
Yeah, I paid down on them already, man. So I just paid like 50% on them this month, and I got paid the other half next month. So
Okay, great.
the owner allowed the lady who's selling them to me because it's a private woman. Actually, she's a Cayman, but her husband's actually a Trinidad.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he has a contact in Trinidad that he brings them in from.
Okay, okay.
And
Probably from rotoplastic. Okay.
yeah, he's an electrician. So she's like, yeah, you can just pay down a deposit on this. I said, all right, I'll give you 50%, and then I'll pay you the rest next month. So I'm
Okay.
kind of working in stages. I kind of won't overstretch myself too much, you know.
Honestly, understand what they're doing, but at the same time, if you could borrow the money, just borrow the money. It's much easier because all this money you're spending now, yes, it's capital expenditure, but the bank will want to see something as a down payment or collateral. And no, I'm not saying that you don't have it. It's just it's always good to use the bank money than your own money, right? So that way you have more leverage. You know, you take less risk on your part. So the initial amount you would have spent to build a small system, you just use as collateral and borrow to do a bigger system. So it comes like you're just buying a bigger asset for the same amount of money that you're initially invested in. And that will have a bigger payout too because the cash flow will be higher. Now, in terms of the education part, the only thing I think I'll have to teach you is the nutrients, but you already had the booklet there. Copy and paste my same formula. Literally just copy and paste the same formula. Don't think about it twice. Just copy and paste the same formula. It works. I'm doing it. It's the same formula I'm using for how much years or whatever. It's the same formula. It's the best formula. I don't switch this formula. Right? So this formula works the best. Just use that formula for the nutrients. But do your research in the back end to understand the different types of nutrients. Now, it has some chemicals inside the booklet there that we have in Trinidad. I don't know if it's available there in the Cayman Islands. So we will have to find substitutes or you'll have to import it yourself. That the only for the foliar sprays at least. So I'm trying to find a contingency plan for that. Once we can find a contingency where I can get the links or source it overseas, you could just click on the link and order it basically. So that's something we have to work on, right? In terms of the foliar sprays. I don't know how bad it is with pest and disease over there in the Cayman Islands. Hopefully it's not that bad. Do you guys face the problems with snails over there?
With what? Sorry?
Snails.
No,
Great.
not really.
So you have a huge advantage
You don't
there.
have those African snails. You don't have those African snails.
That's a huge plus already. So you don't already have a high advantage compared to me. So
Yeah, because the thing is, right, our Department of Agriculture is very strict.
good.
People are bringing stuff because we do have some invasive stuff.
Right.
But like for instance, people are bringing plants from Florida and stuff.
Yeah.
They have to fumigate the entire shipping container and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And leave it closed for a certain amount of days before they can even open that container up. Yeah, like
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
there's a lot. There's even seeds. They don't allow me to just bring in organic seeds. They have to be fungicide treated seeds. All these things.
Okay, okay. Alright, alright.
Yeah.
Well, you know where you're ordering your
The most,
seeds?
the most thing around here we have is like
You know where you're ordering your seeds?
the seed suppliers. I know like I use one of the states called Tomorrow Seeds, or I use Johnny Select Seeds.
Okay.
So
When you ordering seeds from them,
those are good suppliers.
you get they're supposed to have a treatment sheet. They're supposed to send you a document with all the treatments. Just make sure they send you that document, so when you're clearing it, you could show that, hey, this is certified and cleared and treated. So that way you won't have no issues with customs and whatever to get your product. Because they see stuff in Trinidad because of that fact. Right? So
Oh really?
yeah, you have to have the document showing that it's fully treated. They have a regulation right now where you have to go through a process to get seeds. Not everybody could order seeds from away. Not like before. So you have to have a document from your supplier stating that they have treated, and if they don't treat it, then it's going to be a problem and they're going to seize it and dump it. So that's the next issue. You really have to think about that and make sure the supplier is doing that. Johnny Seeds is okay. Tomorrow Seeds, I never use them, but you could try and see. I don't know about Tomorrow Seeds. I'm thinking about them. I saw them, but I never ordered from them, so I don't know. But you could try them and see. There? Hello? Jerome?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to connection.
Okay.
I could hear myself, but I couldn't hear you. You froze up on your side.
Okay.
So I don't know.
But just verify properly with these seeds when you're ordering it, right? That's my main concern, because you don't want to lose on a import with the seeds. Because if you can buy it locally and it's cheap, buy it in bulk, but try to get a good deal. That is the most important part. Your mindset in this whole business should always try to get it cheaper than anything else. Right? So once you can get everything cheaper, your cost of production goes down. Once the cost of production keeps going down, it's better for you, but focus on yields and revenue as well, because you want to maximize on the production as well. Fertilization, when you feed in, it has so much we have to talk about though. It's going to take so much time to teach you every single thing. I think the best thing is like, where you're starting right now is get your plan sorted out first. Like, get the plan fully finished first. Do the cash flow projection with a system size large enough you could copy and paste from my document every single thing that I did with the pricing of all the stuff already, and you just basically use that as a bench to build the entire system and engineer it properly. Once how much tanks you get in? 3 tanks or 1 tank?
3.
Good. So the 3 tanks, it's perfect. Once you have 3 tanks, you could set up 3 mixing tanks and
3
keep,
different,
yeah, and then integrate all of
3
them.
different crops. So
Yeah. Or like that, you was planning to do it.
that's what we're planning on doing. So 1 for the thyme, 1 for the scallion, and 1 for the pepper.
Oh, like that. Yeah, it could work
That's
like
what I
that
was
too.
planning on doing.
I was thinking something else though, but
Actually, I mixed up. Yeah, I just started experimenting experiment with some of the fertilizers so far to show you what I did. I have this here, so I'll just show you a small experiment I did. This is the B. This is the B. This is just the calcium nitrate, and then this is the master blend and the magnesium sulfate together. Because you can mix them, and I just store them like this. And I just been watering my pepper plant with it, and I actually have the fertilizer here. I can show you what I have. So I just opened it recently. This is the master blend.
Okay.
For 1838.
Right. Right.
And then I have the calcium nitrate, which is the 15.5.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's good.
And then I have the Epsom salt, the magnesium sulfate.
Great. So you have all three. Good. What ratio are you using?
Just what they recommended from the factory.
Okay.
So that's like, yeah. So what they had listed on the site, and it works out. And I actually measured it and everything, and it worked out. Let me tell you right now how much it was. It was like 1.8 EC, I think it was. When I mixed these two together,
that's pretty good.
It was 1.8 EC.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, not just for
Right, that's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good. Okay. For the time it will work well because with the time and the parsley, I use the same formula, so it will work pretty well. But like I said, the stacky system, you won't get through with the sieve too much in the stacky system. The best crop for the stacky would be the fine thyme, right? And the parsley. The parsley and the fine thyme works well in those stacky systems, but I still wouldn't recommend it because they cost too much, right? Unless you're getting it cheaper. If you're getting it cheaper, then yeah. But to me, they cost too much, way too much, right?
Yeah, it costs too much as in how in terms of the purchasing of the actual stacky system.
Yeah, the capital investment in it, and also the growth cycle in it. It has an issue with the growth cycle. Like during the growth cycle of a stacky system, you have inconsistencies with watering sometimes. You have also inconsistencies with light distribution, and then you have problems with growth, right? Because if the top plant grows bigger, it shades the bottom plant, and the bottom plant doesn't grow larger because the top one blocking the bottom. And that's the biggest issue that we face with the stacky system. So that's the only problem with the stacky, I would say. Now, it's not like I never had proper grow with the stacky. It is possible to still get good production with it. It's just you have to be on it a little bit every day. Meaning you have to pay attention to what you're doing with your system every single day. Right?
Okay.
But out of all the systems, the one with the PVC pipe with the cocoa peat has the best production, has the best results. That's the main focus. That one does the best, especially for sieve as well. And you could go closer with the PVC pipes. You could go about 1 inch apart and basically put them next to each other. But remember what I said, the width, you don't want to go too much in the width. Like I went 5 feet, I could have go 4 feet, right? Because when you stretch over, I don't know how tall you are, when you stretch over, your lower back will start to hurt, right? So you have to think about your work and your laborers' work at the end of the day. Like if it's too difficult for them, they would complain about the work, it's too hard, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing there, you make it comfortable in a scenario where, all right, they're comfortable where they are working, the work isn't too hard, and you get in production. And then you can focus on maximization from there. Just keep adding on more PVC pipes, more racks, paying more people, and just getting more output. Once you do that, you should be able to succeed no matter what.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually thinking of doing it just 4 feet wide because I kind of did a home right with a measuring tape and just kind of check, see how far I could actually reach.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, 4 feet would be the widest I would do this.
Yeah.
You know, honestly.
Once you get it on both sides of the rack too. So that's the most important thing. Yeah, and you could get about probably 8 to 10 pipes on our 4 feet.
4 inch, the 4 inch pipe, how much you can fit on it?
You can probably get about 10 pipes.
If you put them right next to each other.
I don't put them next to each other because I leave a gap for airflow. I leave that 1 inch gap for air to pass through.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to when you put it so close. What has happened is that when rain fall, right, and the humidity rises, and also when it's too close, the humidity is increased so much, and then fungi start to grow. So you have to think about airflow as something you have to incorporate inside there. You have to consider airflow. So
Okay, so
leave.
that's one of the reasons why I want to do the breezer blocks. If you look at the sketch, the
Yeah.
breezer blocks has airflow, so the air can flow under the pipes. You see.
Yes, that will work. That will work as well. Yeah. And also, well, I've now learned that using the air stone will help the grow do better. So if you can place some air stones in the tanks, it will work. It will help the production as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's something one of my students actually taught me. He was like, here's what. He using air stones, and that's why he getting a little bit better production. So he dropped 4 air stones in the in one of the tough tanks. So you could incorporate that.
Okay.
I will look for it. I will look for that myself because he was like, it's cheap too. It's not expensive. It's real cheap. So you can incorporate the air stones in there as well. Right. So
Okay.
that's. So let me think.
I have some questions, I
Yeah,
have
go
some
ahead.
questions I need to ask you.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I wrote them down. Let me just get them quickly. So, all right. So the first question is, explain to me the ratio of the cocoa peat and perlite.
Right. So the ratio I use is 10 blocks to 100 liters of perlite. So if, for example, you're using 4 blocks for 6 lengths of PVC pipe, right? Because I use 4 blocks for 6 lengths of PVC pipes, right? 4-inch PVC pipes, right? To these 4 blocks of cocoa peat, I would use 40 liters of perlite. The reason why I use 40, which is do you have the black construction bucket over there, the 5-gallon? Jerome, you hear me? I don't know why the connection keep dropping though. My Wi-Fi is actually 100%. Yeah. I don't know
You
why.
can hear me, right?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now, but I don't know why it keep freezing because my Wi-Fi is 100%, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it could be my end. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Anyway,
So
right. So
yeah, so the cocoa. That's why I couldn't understand about the book was the cocoa peat and the perlite ratio. Like, so for instance, if I use one block of cocoa peat, just for argument's sake, how much perlite would I require to have?
10 liters.
So okay, that's really high. That's actually a lot of perlite.
Yeah, there's a reason I use a lot of perlite. Drainage is very important for me.
Okay.
Drainage.
That's like 50% ratio, man. That's like 50-50.
That's correct. But this is over some time I realize. Here's what has happened, right? When you use too little bit of perlite, the cocoa peat gets too saturated. And when that happens now, you end up with root rot. You end up with a lot of different problems too. It's like cocoa peat naturally retains a lot of moisture. So if rain is falling a lot and you're giving it nutrients and it's soaking up too much and it's not draining fast enough, you're going to start growing fungi and bacteria. And when that happens, you have to start using a fungicide. You have to start using a bactericide, then pests will start to come around. You had to end up using way more chemicals in that scenario. So
Okay.
this is why I tend to use a higher ratio of perlite with the coco peat, so I have way more drainage. The medium dries out a lot better, and the crop's roots are way more healthier. Because root production is the most important. If you cannot maintain your root production, you would fail. So if you could maintain healthy root production, you will get a better result.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, so
Because-
I don't use what they use online, what they recommend. I use a higher ratio because of the experience, and I realize when you use a higher ratio, you get better results. And perlite is cheaper when you think about it like this too, because to me, a bag of perlite is like $100 here, TT, right? So it's like $10, like $40 I invest in per rack. That's cheaper. Like $40 I'm investing with 4 blocks of cocoa peat, that is almost $200. $220 I'm only investing there. One crop alone pays back for that. And I still make profit.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is why I would recommend you go with a higher ratio. You retain more in terms of, like, you use less chemicals. Let's just say that. You spend more one way, but you save on the other aspect. No, you could go the chemical route, but I mean, I don't like to go the chemical route because I like time. So I don't like the idea like you have to keep spraying all the time. And it's a routine and it's a must, you have to be there right through. No, I like the idea if I can do all the upfront work today and the payout is better in the long term, that is what I like.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like mixing concrete. If you mix concrete bad, it won't be strong enough. Let me just say that. If you mix it good from the start, you have a stronger foundation there. If that makes sense.
Okay.
What's the other questions you
And
have?
what about the drip tip? What is the flow rate of the emitters and the spacing in between the emitters?
Oh, I can't even remember the flow rate. I think it's 15 psi or something like that. So 15 psi, I think is the pressure. I can't remember. It was the flow rate. I think is.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
like if it's 0.25 gallons per hour.
I think it's 1 gallon per hour. I think it's 1 gallon per hour. Per hour, because I only run the emitters 2 to 5 minutes per day. Right?
Okay,
And also, well, the spacing is 4 inch apart.
Okay, so it's 4 inches apart. And
Yeah.
then you run it for how long?
2 to 5 minutes, but that changes. That is something that changes, because alright,
With the weather?
with the weather, because okay, these days it's pretty hot. I would tend to water a little bit more, right? If it's raining a lot, I tend to water a lot less. So it changes over time depending on the weather, the environment, the humidity, the airflow. It changes on all of that. If you could control all those parameters, you will win. But if you're doing open field like me, then you'll have to change, like you'll have to work with the environment.
Okay, so you just do like a finger test in your grow medium to know, the saturation and stuff. Then you don't use like a soil meter or anything testing the moisture or anything, right?
Exactly as you said it, that is exactly what I do. Exactly as you said it, that is exactly what I do, a finger test. If it's moist, it's moist. If it's not, and I water my crop to the point where it's saturated, and then after I would let it be on automation for a while, and then I'll check it. But I check my crop daily. Even if I only spend 1 hour a day on the farm, if there's so much, or so little, I should say, I always check every single plant. So what I do is I walk around the entire farm, check each plant, see what's going on. If I notice something, then I'll make a change. If I notice like this rack needs more water, then I'll switch on the system or do a test and see okay which ones need water today, and then I'll go like that. So that's a routine check. Like you just check all your plants, but it's a habit. Yeah, you should create that habit too, especially because this is your investment. You don't want things going wrong. Yeah.
So what's the spacing that you do on your grow racks in terms of the drainage holes? I notice you have drainage holes in them.
4 inch apart. And you could use a 1/4 inch, or if you're using a 1/2 inch bit, you could go about 8 inches to 1 feet apart. Right?
Which one would you recommend?
I do the 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch, 4 inches apart.
Okay.
I'm glad we talk about this. I'll put this in the document because I realize a lot of people has asked me about that. I never really put it in the document, so I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, it's
No, it's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it today. So I know now I'll put it in there.
Definitely, yeah. It's important, because like one of the things they said that you should have like 10 to 20% runoff. I don't know if you measure all of these things because you don't want buildup of salts. So you check for those things.
You could check for runoff. Actually, if you do check for runoff, it's actually a good thing that you do that. But how to put it? But I think I'm just so experienced with understanding it, like seeing it through my eyes, and just knowing, like from seeing it happening so much times. It's like I just know how much I'm putting in, and it's a fixed formula. I don't ever change the formula. I don't go up in ppm. I don't add more fertilizer. I don't put less fertilizers. Always keep the same ratio. So I just, if it needs more fertilizer for some reason, I'll just water a little bit longer. That is how I do it. If the crop, so what I tend to do is when the crop is small, we use way less on the smaller ones than when it gets bigger. When it gets bigger, I would tend to use way more solution because the root mass is a lot bigger. The plant is demanding more. It will need more water and oxygen and a lot of different things. It will need more, so it will get bigger. So you have to keep all this in mind. It has a timeline where it gradually goes up. Is like, but the only thing changes is the watering timing, meaning that I'll spend more time on the bigger crops than I'll spend time on the smaller ones.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only difference. Like I don't change the formula, but all I do is that change is the only change I will make. I will just water longer.
Okay.
And
so, like for instance, if I start now with the seedlings, like, because and if you saw the document that they had, right, actually plan on using a flood and drain table, right, to grow the seedlings in, right?
That'll work. That'll work. Use 10-52-10.
Sorry?
Use 10-52-10 as your fertilizer for the flood and drain once a week.
Okay, 10, 15, 10.
No, 10-52.
10-52.
Anything between 10-52 or 10-50 to 10-55. You want the middle number to be high. That's the phosphorus.
Okay, so 10-52-5 you said?
No, 10-52-10 or 10-55-10. You want the middle number be the highest. You understand? Out of the 3 numbers in the NPK, the middle one you want the one to be the highest. For the flood and drain, and make sure it's hydroponic fertilizer. And when you use that system now and you set it up, it should work. And you wouldn't need to fertilize every day. You could, like, once it's pro-mix is the medium where the hatchlings coming out from, you could just use, like, at a low ppm, you could go real low and just keep feeding it until it's ready. Say that again?
Like 0.5 EC would be okay?
Yeah, 0.5 EC will be okay. Because it's a seedling. It's not gonna need a lot. Yeah. Right? So you could use a small amount and gradually, when it move from the seedling into the system, then you could feed it the normal ratio of hydroponic, like with the master blend that you have there. Feed it,
Yeah.
and then as it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, you have to monitor the medium. So remember I said the cocoa peat retains a lot of water. It also retains the nutrients. So you water to the point it's saturated. The next time you're going to water is when it's looking like it's about to dry out. You water it again. Now remember, thyme and parsley and scythe don't require a lot of watering. So you can use a small amount over time until it gets large enough where you need to use more. So it's a little bit more efficient with these crops.
Yeah, they have a shallow root system, right? So
That's right.
a little bit goes a long way.
That's right. Yeah. So, what's the next question?
1 second, hopefully they don't. So that mixture, right, for the so let me see. All right, the mixture that you recommended that can work for the stacker system too, right? It seems like basically 50% cocoa, 50% perlite, right?
Well, it's not really 50%. Remember, it's using 1 block to 10 liters. When you're measuring the liters, okay, I use a construction bucket, and a construction bucket would be around
5 gallons.
25 liters. No. A construction bucket would be around what? 24 liters? 24, 25 liters, somewhere around there, right? No. It will be around 20 liters. A construction bucket will be around 20 liters, correct? Hello?
Yeah.
Right, you're finally back. Okay.
Yeah, you still recording it, right?
I am recording it, yeah. Are you recording it on two?
Because my recording thing on my side not working that good, so it cut off like the first couple of minutes. So
That's
it's
okay.
still recording. I just taking notes, you know.
That's
on the
okay.
notepad on my computer.
You guys have the black construction bucket over there, right?
Yeah, see what you mean, like this?
I mean, that's 5 gallon?
I think this is 5 gallons, yeah?
Right.
I think so. I think standard buckets are 5 gallon.
Right, so one of that,
You can afford that, too.
right, one of that does 4 blocks of cocoa peat.
4 blocks of cocoa peat.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's how you check it. One of that bucket is matching 4 blocks of cocoa peat when you hydrate the cocoa peat. Good?
okay. I didn't realize it could actually hold that amount.
Yeah. When you mix it, you'll see. Remember, in my videos, I'll show you like you want the texture, you want to see the perlite in between. So you will see it when you mix it. You mix it thoroughly as well. So once you do all that, you'll see everything how it's done properly, right? What's the next question we have?
All right, one more question relating to the perlite, right? I know there's 2 different types of perlite out there. The one I bought was the actual Miracle Grow one, which is the finer one. But the hardware store in Cayman sells the really coarse big perlite. I wasn't sure which one you actually use.
3 millimeter to 5 millimeter or to 6 millimeter.
That's the
it.
coarse one, man.
Yeah, 3 millimeter to 6 millimeter perlite. That is what you're looking for.
That's the coarse one.
Yeah.
Look, I bought the wrong one.
Don't buy finer than that. Finer than that doesn't really make sense. It will more make sense for seedlings. It wouldn't make sense for what you're trying to do here. Right?
Okay, so I can use it for seedlings, and so that's fine.
Yeah. You could use it for the seedlings, but not for this in the production side. The bigger side, no. You won't really need it there. Right?
Okay, so it won't go to waste then.
Yeah, no, you always find. Trust me, I use all kind of different things, and I try all different types of different methods and mediums. You find use for everything.
And that's good that you said that, right? Because I'm thinking, because we both live in tropical environments, right? And I noticed that the stuff that you blended with your hydroponic medium, right? I'm thinking if you just use just the cocoa peat and perlite, there's a lot of leaching because we live in a high rainfall environment. And I think maybe that's the reason why you added like the compost and the azomite and these stuff to it, because of the high amounts of leaching from rainfall.
Correct. If you're adding those things, you have a buffer because it will add more microbial life into the soil and also add more nutrients. And your plants will actually grow better than everybody else will. That's a secret. But yeah, because it have everything in the soil. You're going to get way much healthier crop because it not only dependent. It coexists with the hydroponic fertilizer. I remember in living soil, these things there, right? But it had to measure living soil. So you have to think about that as well, right? How strong you want your soil to be as well. Do you want it dependent or you want it independent? Independent will always trump everything else.
So my question is, is that still considered hydroponics? Is it still because you added like compost? That's a gray area, right?
It's actually it's not fully considered hydroponics, but we use a lot of hydroponic fertilizer. That is why I still call it hydroponics, right? The system is still heavily dependent on the fertilizer. Now there are days, like it's been about 2 or 3 days now, I haven't watered with hydroponic fertilizer. That's okay. I can take that chance, but another farm might not be able to take that chance.
No.
So, but I try to make my farm independent, where it's like, because alright, here's the problem, right, with hydroponics. One person screw up could screw the entire crop up. What if your worker forgets to mix fertilizer that day? Are you telling me your entire farm is going to die in that day? You understand what I'm saying? You don't have you don't have a buffer. You don't have no time to it's like you're agitated by the scenario of, whoa, this thing will die if I don't leave now what I'm doing to go and fix that problem. You understand? In this scenario now, I could leave my farm and say, alright, here's what. Even if they screw up for some reason, let's just say I leave somebody in charge and they screw up for some reason, at least I have some time to go and correct it, to get it back to where it is. Because what if I'm out of the country? Right? What if I'm out of the country and somebody is doing this and they screw up for some reason? It could happen. A lot of things could happen, and I've seen it in not only my farm but other farms as well. People do make mistakes, and that is make you learn and understand, okay, what's the contingency plan for these mistakes? So it's good to have buffers like that. It's good to have buffers.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense, man. Because I realized I said you actually there's actually a gray area there, but like one of the things. What type of compost would you recommend?
Worm castings. Anything with worm castings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I did some research on these stuff. So I think you had worm casting and you had compost too as well, right?
Yeah. But the compost is more like, alright, we'll use like, what about it? Kitchen garden scraps, alright? But you can make your own compost. It all depends on what you add in. But compost is a whole different biology by itself. So it's like dry leaves, green matter, and then after, you're using like waste, like all type of different waste. And then worms now will kind of break it down further. The darker it is, the better. And then you can add in manure into your compost to increase the nitrogen levels. It all comes down to a different blend of how you making your compost, right? And compost is a whole different biology and understanding. So it takes a lot more science to understand good compost. But if people do more compost research or make more compost, yeah, like good compost, like when I say good compost, like have plenty fruit matter, have plenty manure, topsoil, green, dry. It makes everything in there. So and eventually you would have a compost. Like you must have a compost in your farm too, because you're going to have waste. It's a farm. You can't get away from it. I learned this from like the first year. You can't get away with. You're going to have a lot of waste. You're going to have to manage that waste somehow, but you have to recycle it so you'll get back money. I even take some of the old cocoa peat and perlite, dump it in there and let it break down further, and then use that back into another crop. You could use that back into the peppers. I grew some cassava with the old cocoa peat and perlite too, because you're going to have a scenario where you're going to need to use that somewhere else as well. Because remember, once you start using crop rotation, you're going to have to find different methods of maximizing the yield of your soil. So, that's just some more information there.
Okay, well, so out of all of those ingredients, right? So like for instance, because they're talking about accessibility of stuff. So like the worm castings, I noticed I did some research on worm castings. It's something that's actually pH is actually neutral.
Yeah.
In worm casting, with worm castings. Now that
but
also
you can salvage worms any part of the world. They come up from the earth naturally.
Yeah.
So you could just take that same black bucket, just turn it upside down, cover it, throw scraps right there, cover it, worms will come up and break down that right there. Literally. It's like that is how biology is. That is how the world works. Once it breaks down that matter, and then you can use that. You can use it back. Worm castings is the.
What about azomite?
Right, so as I learned this from a colleague of mine. He introduced me to azomite. He was like, but he told me to use azomite as a contingency, because he was like, if you make your plant strong and resilient to anything, you won't have to rely on pesticides and fungicides as much as normal farms. So that's how I end up using azomite, because my azomite just have all the micro minerals and other things that you won't think about. It would just have it there, right? It has the most micronutrition for like soil, but cows and stuff eat it as well. They feed this to cows as well. So it's just a nutritional value thing, right? So you just put in that there to just add more nutrition to the soil, so the plant always have high nutrition. So in preparation of the cocoa peat and stuff, the more you input at the start is the more output you'll get in the long term. And that's what you're looking for. You understand? The healthier your crop is, you'll always get more people buying from you. That's the most important thing. Quality will trump every single thing else. And that was what matters in agriculture. And if you're close to organic, like like what I doing, then you'll have a better ratio as well. Like more people will be more inclined to purchase from you than the outside. Once again, more food conscious at least.
Definitely. And what I was told too about asthma, it actually makes the crops taste better.
Yeah. All my seasoning, everything I grow actually tastes better than the outside. Surprisingly, everything tastes better. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something they don't teach in the books. I don't know it entirely, but yeah, that's like one of the things. No, and
They don't teach a lot of
people. Hydroponic has a bad reputation for saying that the food is tasteless. That's what they say. They say about hydroponics up because I remember I was exercising the other day when I was walking down the street from me, and there was a guy there. I was telling him, yeah, I want to get into hydroponics and I wanted to do peppers and stuff. And he said, peppers? We're in hydroponics? Him and another family member of mine, they're like, no, don't do that because the peppers won't have no taste and all that. Versus if you grow it in the ground and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, so they have a preconceived notion that hydroponic stuff don't taste good. So.
Well, you can prove them wrong. Like anytime somebody tell me something like that, I just prove them wrong by just growing something better than them. That's all. It's simple as that. Just prove them wrong. Just do a better grow than them and taste that pepper.
Yep.
Oh.
So you've had an experience with growing any peppers in like grow bags or anything?
You still seeing? Oh, so my memory maxed out there with the screen recording.
Okay.
So I'll only be able to get it from my other phone here. So I'll just let you know. Yeah, we did peppers already. Peppers grew actually really nice. It was actually pretty good too. Organic as well. No, I didn't spray for no mites and all those different things. So it was real nice. It grew real healthy actually. I think people.
That's amazing though.
Yeah, no.
Because the fact that you incorporate these things where it's like borderline soil.
No, but
there's no pest.
But I know a guy who is grow peppers to supply all the processors here in South, and he's doing it hydroponically. And it's even more automated than my one because he has the misters set up for automatic spraying and automatic watering and testing all the controllers. He set up all of those things. He spent like over $250,000 in that. And he set up a full automated, and this is like big agriculture. We're talking 10 acres. So it's like,
oh, huge.
Yeah, it's like big system. Using the same grow bag. And like, I think the last time I talked to him, what he was doing is like he was you know the insect screen? Yeah, he's putting up those and blocking out all the pests from coming in. So
you build like a greenhouse then?
Yeah, like a greenhouse, like a shade house, but not blocking out all the sunlight, just blocking all the insects from coming in. So it stays more organic.
It's good.
Yeah, that time.
Peppers, you can get this one outfit, man.
No, peppers have a high demand. Peppers have a high demand around the world. It will always be demanded.
Seems so?
Yeah, it'll always be demanded. Yeah.
So I give you a story about our pepper, right? This thing called a season pepper, and apparently there was accident found here in Cayman outside of the agriculture building. Right? It looks like a Scotch bonnet pepper, but it has no heat. And it's only grown here in Cayman, as far as I know.
Okay.
I don't know nowhere else in the world. They found it here, and they actually started propagating it. And there is a high demand for it in the supermarket. They can't keep it in the stuff.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
You should grow those. That's something cool.
That's the plan, but that's the later end of the project. That's why my plan is to work for it. Like I said, I want kind of get my feet wet in it first, and then I start to grow and build up the capital and build up the experience and everything. So when I expand now, everything should be like easy. So
okay, but so I have a question for you. I cleared up most of your whatever you had in your mind. Most of it cleared up now, or you still unsure about certain things?
I pretty much cleared up with everything now, man. So I mean,
okay, good.
I'm pretty much good to go.
Right.
And like I said, you confirm with the pumps, because if you like I said, that was really one of my main concern was those pumps.
Right.
based on what I did online and the calculator and everything. Because right now your system, what size pumps you using on it?
Half horsepower and 1 horsepower. I might have multiple
And how much
systems. I have multiple systems, right? So it all depends on like the size and distance and how much emitters are running, how much lines are running. Everyone is different. It varies. All of them are different. But what I've learned is go with the size of the pump. Just maximize the size of the pump to the system. Don't over exceed it. Once you over exceed it, you'll have a drop in pressure and flow. That is the biggest problem. So just go with the size of the pump to wherever is the maximum pressure and it should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my other question is relating to the pump rate. So
Yeah.
I actually planning on doing the stacky system at the time, and then I'm actually planning on doing a PVC system with the time. You think that can work together? Like I can water both of them simultaneously?
No, don't do that. Keep it separate. If it's really small, you could probably get through, but I would recommend keeping it separate because it'll just. I just foreseen a problem because I did that already with a grow bag and the stacky system, and I had a problem. Like I had a lot of problems actually. The problems was like, alright, stacky system done water, you have to go and physically switch it off and then wait for this one to finish water. When this one finished water, and then after, it's like it wasn't automatic. It was more like you had to be there to water this thing every single day at a specific time. I don't like any type of system that you have to be there physically to do it. It's not automatic. The moment you have to spend more than 8 hours a day in your farm, you're spending too much time. So if you can set up things that's automatic from the start, that saves you time, you will always make more. Because the more time you have, you could use it on other things. You could use it on developing other things that will create more assets or bring more income. But if you only focus on these systems that every day you have to baby it, you'll never leave or never be able to grow to the next level because you always have to baby this one. So you have to manage your time. You have to manage how much you input it. The only time you should actually hire somebody is for like when it's labor, high intense labor, and you control everything else. So it's less risk on your part. So less screw ups then.
Yes.
And that is what you want. You want less screw ups. You want more income generating stuff. And that is what you want to do. So just keep that in mind. Like don't overstep the boundaries in the pump, and don't try to do two systems that have two different variables on the same pump. Like it would just be too much. You have to physically be there to manage the two at different intervals.
Yeah. That's fine. I can just put 2 pumps on one tank, so that's the solution.
2 pumps on one tank. Yeah, you could do that too. There is another option too. You could use something called like electric valve, a solenoid valve. You could go with that one as well, but again, it's a little costly and you had to set up a good controller.
Yeah, and there's always failures in the system. Like,
That's the next problem.
If you have to someone else to tend to it, chance started probably screw it up,
Yeah, that's the error. Like the human error is there. It real. It does happen. Like I've left workers and they have screwed up shit too much times for me to start over all again. This is why I choose to just hire when I am there for heavy labor and I get to manage them. You see like how you are a project manager? That's how I operate with workers now. It's like I only bring them and hire them out for projects. I try to run the entire farm on my own. If I need help with harvesting or whatever, I call out a team, and that is how you operate. You don't do it in a way where you take on all the labor, but you do it in a way that you subcontract or hire out so that way you make everything more efficient and you save on time. That is the most important thing. Once you can save on your time and your payout is higher in the hour, that is all you're really aiming for. And once you can keep doing that over and over and over, you'll win.
Definitely. Besides, how hard is for you to process them before you sell them and stuff? Like, I know you cut the roots off and all that kind of stuff, right?
So when we pull it up from the cocoa pit, I just snip it out right by the base of the roots. And that's it.
You don't pull off like any of some of the skin that kind of like flaking off it. You peel that off or anything, or no? Like this side, some of them might look like they have like a dry skin on it, like kind of like if you can peel, look like an onion.
Oh.
You know what it is?
Yeah, you'll get like one or two of that sometimes. No.
Okay.
You don't get much of that. You don't get, like if it grown well, you'll get less of that actually. Yeah, but barely. I think the last harvest I did yesterday, I get like one or two of that, but nothing to talk about.
Okay.
Nothing to literally nothing to talk about in like in a big way.
And you never tried growing a purple scythe?
You have a purple scythe?
Yeah, man.
Oh, nah.
Even in red too?
Oh, nah. First time I hearing about those. Wow. Purple and red scythe. That's interesting. I never heard about those.